So here's what we got. With this dead oak, it broke and knocked a piece of the porch and stuff off. So we got this little drop zone here, and then it drops off a tier there, and it drops off another tier there, and then another one there, and then you land in a beach. So we're gonna use the two green oaks, this one and this one, to make it work. So,
but if you notice there, I tried to point it out. I didn't point it out really clearly, but this tree is already beginning to fail. Sections are falling out. It is ripping. It's ripped part of their porch off already. So that's the trouble.
okay,
with
so we are tied up into this green tree over to the gree, and then the zigzag wrench over to the other green tree. We're on the top of this dead one. We're gonna span rig this section that goes out over the house in between this dead section and the green tree. So let's see how this goes.
Alright, so what do I mean by span rigging? I've seen different examples and definitions of span rigging. I'm just discussing with the ground guy right now how much friction he needs, how many wraps, whatever, if he can hold the piece. But the reason it's called span rigging is because I am rigging between a span of rope. It's moving freely on that span from the dead one to the green one. The span of rope in between there will control the limb, and the limb moves freely on that span of rope, so it can share it between the two sections, two trees. The weight is evenly kind of displaced between the two, so not so much on the dead tree. So I think the biggest issue I run into with span rigging, there really isn't any major issues, but you can't be absolutely directly insanely precise with exactly where you lower it, because it is moving between the spans. So the height of each one, each anchor point, will determine which direction it goes, and it requires twice as much rope. So there are the downsides to it, the negatives, but the positives definitely outweigh those.
What the hell happened?
So I was really surprised with how good the 200T ran here. This is a family antique, basically. It's one of my dad's saws when I was a child, and I've had it rebuilt, but it never really gets used, very rarely, and I'm having issues with the other saws, so it really surprised me with how good it ran.
Lessen the impact. I'm in a rotten tree. This holding it tight, you're 50 feet away from anything. Lessen that impact for me. You're gonna rip me out.
So this tree was just weird in general. They had many companies look at it. Everyone said they couldn't get to it, couldn't be done. Only way they could see it possibly being done is to bring the biggest crane that they could find, park it way up on top of the hill on the road. Other trees would have to be cut. It was insane the amount of work they said they would have to do. But
okay, so
definitely wasn't one that you first look at and you're like, definitely I want to climb that. I didn't want to climb it, but this is what I came up with. This is how I got it done. The first few limbs of the span rigging, they weren't really good, really smooth. As we kept going, Dave was letting it run a little more for me, which was really nice. It wasn't shaking me up so much. But then it just got to where that wouldn't even work. Now you get to the point where you just have to basically get creative with what you're going to do. There is lights everywhere on every one of those levels. all the bricks are very expensive and are glued in. It's, you know, there's just obstacles everywhere. And with a lot of these limbs, as you can see, they hit, bust, break apart. And you just keep your fingers crossed that it doesn't bust the lights out that are mounted all below us. So there's tons of them. I don't know if at any point I get a good view of them, but I imagine I do. But yeah, we rig, but it's getting to the point where we're gonna have to do something creative because the span rigging isn't gonna work. It's gonna swing it back into the house and hit the house.
Okay. Good. Easy, easy, easy. Well, that one swung all the way around and right up to the porch. I think that's probably the hardest swing that one will take though, so.
So this limb here was kind of tricky, and I'm sure 90% of climbers, if you've done it for any length of time, you've ran into this situation where you're trying to rig a branch, but you're forced to have to jump it over your climb line, or it's going to bump your climb line, or whatever. So I am redirecting right here my climb line onto the other side of the branch. That way I can drop the branch straight down and not have to actually jump my climb line. So just a little bit of forethought and, you know, a good redirect, and it makes this much safer and easier.
That was nicer. Hey, he knows that if something gets busted in the process of these big dead limbs smashing, like I told him, can't really control the shards. Yeah, I'm just saying, some of these lights, you know, up underneath us, we're just going to try our best. But, I mean, a dead piece can very easily knock off and bump it. I hope not, though. Hey, can I launch stuff out into the beach?
I'm sorry, what?
Can I launch stuff into the beach if I clean it up?
Sure.
Cool. I'm not necessarily going to, but it looks awful wide open right there right now.
All the furniture to the left here.
Cool. No, nice job though on the rig. I mean, I don't want you holding it up in the air for long. After it gets into this hole here, you could start to let it down. So it's almost like letting it down. Just, you need to let it get past the lights and into the hole. Ah. Easy. Yeah. Just lower it down, then pull it out of that. That tip got stuck on my rope, and then it got stuck in that other rope too. Or it would have dipped over like it was supposed to. Well, it's not like it's the most predictable wood. So what do you think? Would you rather just pull this one over?
What's that?
This one. Into the hole?
There's speed line it down. Because like I said, right here, below you, there's like 4 or 5 decent holes.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's like all the way to the main center.
Alright, so from here, I feel like the speed lining was not working. It was very, very sketchy, way too much movement, not controlled enough. Rigging out of this tree is just not good, and the swing, to have to swing it to a green tree is not good. So we're about to launch stuff to the beach. So that's where we're at right now. We're looking to set up and launch a couple tops onto this beach and hopefully miss the bushes, the bricks. Well, the bottom bricks we can kind of bump against, but the lights and everything we need to miss. So Dave's really gonna have to be in the right spot for this to go right.
Missed it. Missed all the lights and the pole.
You missed the light?
Yep. Yeah.
You didn't break any of the bricks either?
No. No, it kind of went like a...
Ah, gotcha. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it jumped over the bush. Very nice. That was nice, Dave. Perfect pull. We are going to do one more, this one like that. And then these two will probably take into the hole there, I think. Very nice though. Now we got this top, and then a bunch of wood to chunk.